The clock is ticking for Maine lawmakers to either finish any remaining business for the session or vote to extend it for yet another day. Good evening. I'm Pat Callahan.
And I'm Amanda Hill. Members in both chambers have been facing some tough decisions. First, they had to pick which bills among the more than 200 approved this session would get funding. Those bills totaled about $1.6 billion in spending, but as of Friday, there was only $12 million left in the governor's budget that had not been allocated. Then there were two high-profile bills.
One that aims to save the lives of people overdosing on drugs, the other granting something that Maine's native tribes have been demanding for decades: sovereignty. And one of those bills is now headed to the governor's desk. The other remains in legislative limbo.
News Center Maine's Jackie Mundry is at the State House with more. Jackie.
Hey, Pat and Amanda, that tribal sovereignty bill, or LD 1626, is currently sitting on the Special Appropriations Committee table. I spoke to lawmakers earlier today who are hopeful that it gets off the table into the Maine Senate before the session ends this evening. As of right now, when we left the State House, the Maine Democrats were caucusing and the Maine Senate is not back in session. So we don't know if they will actually take up the tribal sovereignty bill. But if they do, it's a bill Governor Janet Mills says she cannot sign. President Jimmy Carter signed Indian Claims Settlement Act back in 1980 after the Penobscot and Passamaquoddy tribes sued the state of Maine for illegally seizing and then selling off tribal lands in the decades before and after we became a state. Maine's tribes were given more than $81 million as a result of this law, but they also remained under state laws and regulations. Fast forward to recent years, and Maine's tribes have been working to gain sovereignty from the state, and LD 1626 would do just that. If this bill gets through the state Senate and onto Governor Janet Mills' desk, she will likely veto it. In a letter to state lawmakers and tribal chiefs, Governor Mills says she is proud of the work her administration has done this session on two bills related to the tribes. One, giving them rights to clean water, and the other, letting them get into mobile sports betting. But when it comes to LD 1626 and giving them full sovereignty, she says she has concerns, mainly that the bill would lead to more lawsuits between the tribes in the state and even more division. Writing in part, I recognize the tribe's desire to see LD 1626 become law, just as I hope that the tribes and lawmakers recognize that my concerns about the legislation are based in policy and are not personal, and that my fears are that it would yield years, if not decades, of new, painful litigation that would only divide the state further. In that same letter, Governor Janet Mills says that she hopes that LD 1626 could be carried over to next legislative session so that some of these concerns can be addressed and maybe the bill can be reworked. We reached out to a number of tribal leaders today, and they either declined to speak on the matter or we have not yet heard back. Like I said, we are waiting for the Maine Senate to go back into session to see if they take up this bill. But for now, live in Augusta, Jackie Mundry, News Center, Maine.
Thank you, Jackie.